I am as you can see, in my living room and talking to you from the comfort of my living room. But thank you so much for being here, and I hope all of you are keeping safe. As all of you know, my name is STELLA. SUBBIAH. I'm going to start today's talk or discussion, it's not a discussion talk, with a small performance. I've chosen T.M. Krishna's, it's Tyagaraja's music sung by T.M. Krishna. It's in Rag Kamboji, and a small dance piece. But before I do that, I'd like to thank Manch UK and particularly Meera Kaushik and her wonderful team for organizing this fantastic platform. I have been listening to the talks by the other artists and I think it is a really important and valid platform for all of us to listen and appreciate where each and other artists are coming from. And also we are really looking forward to seeing Pyari's work tomorrow. She's one of the pioneers of establishing South Asian dance. So here I begin. It's a warm-up for me as well. So it's a work in progress. A lot of it would be improvisation. So the text is or unless I, when I call you, can't you just come running? Okay? So this is work in progress. A lot of it is improvisation. The reason I did this is because I really thought it might just give you a kind of an idea of how I approach dance and how I approach work. As you know, I'm from Patna. I was born in Patna, and my father, he was also an artist. He went to Shantiniketan. He came from a very much a conventional and traditional background, but he didn't follow his father's footsteps, and he decided that he wanted to take dancing. So he went to Shantiniketan, and later on he went to Kerala and Manipur. And when he came back, he established an institute called Bharatinatyam Mandir. And that's where I first started my dance. Now, Bharatinatyam Mandir was very unique because it had both the indoor and the outdoor auditorium. And it had some beautiful, the sculptures were done by the various local Bihari artists, very well-known artists. The curtain was designed by them, so my father had gone into all these details. And so when I started dance, he took me to the different classes. I went to Odissi class, I went to Kathakali class, Mohiniyattam class. But when I entered the Bharatanatyam classroom, I entered and it was like, honest to God, I really felt, and I was very little, I just thought, yeah, this is for me. And who was the teacher? The teacher was Pushpaka, our beloved Pushpaka, Pushpa Shankar, who is also from Kalakshetra. So it was amazing because she managed to tease out all the things which I had hidden inside me. I didn't know, my imagination, my love for dance. She managed to tweak it all out and get me into moving with fall in love with Bharatanatyam. So between my dad, and then of course my mother used to look after my father's museum because he had a museum of the Bihar folk arts with the folk music, instruments and costumes by all the Adivasi and the tribal over the years which he had collected. And of course he did a Ford Foundation collaboration as well. So, and then after that, what happened was my Pushpaka and my father teamed up together, and they decided that I needed to go to study in Chennai. I needed to go to Kalakshetra. So I got a Government of India scholarship, and then I went to Kalakshetra. So I landed up, I was wearing short skirts, and my father had given me a beautiful gold belt which he had got from Russia at that time, USSR. And I was wearing those cork heels, and I went with my dad to Kalakshetra. And it was so funny because when I went there, I saw everybody wearing full skirt and then, a blouse and stuff. So I looked around and I was really amazed. And of course, I fell in love with the premise because there was beach nearby, there was sea, there was sand. We didn't wear shoes. So slowly, and then Pushpaka was at the time, she had left Kalamandir and come to Chennai, so she was my local guardian. So she had to stitch for me a full pavada, full skirt and top. And then she enrolled me into Western Davendale School. And then, there I began my school studies, and in the evening I would come to part-time class, part-time Bharatanatyam. So until then, actually I hadn't realized that there were different people all over India were speaking different languages or different dialects, or they ate differently. I had absolutely no idea. So when I came to Chennai, and you'll have the Rangama and the Rajamas, the Ammas who used to look after the kitchen and stuff like that, they'll go, they'll tell me. So the one pet thing I had learned was I had to tell them this, Enaka Tamil Theriyadu. So, I don't know Tamil. So anyway, over the years, we just kind of, I learnt it, and I stayed in Kalakshetra for 16 years. I slowly, participated in all the different dance dramas, Ate's dance dramas, and some of them she was choreographing new work, such as Meenakshi Vijayam, where I remember she had called us to come. That is Egi, Shantaka was doing, Shanta Gopinath was doing Meenakshi. So she had called me, all three of us, to come during one of the break time to come and work on the choreography. So she created movements about, you know, we did with things like killy jumping, jumping to the side. I don't know whether Shantaka remembers all this or Geeta remembers all this. So, and then of course, when the term started, she kind of just threw everything out and she said, no, we'll do the different material and stuff like that. So all that, it was really interesting. And then of course we had to do Kalari Paitu because we had to learn, because it was all about martial art and martial art training. So she had invited masters from Kerala. So we were all learning a Kalari training and all. So Meenakshi Vijayam had that kind of influences. And then of course you learn the roles through the different dance dramas, but you don't directly, you learn them from Krishna Veniyaka or various other teachers, but you didn't learn, it was not choreographed, you were not there when she was choreographing. So, but I was lucky, so we had that opportunity to be there. I had an opportunity to be there when she was choreographing Meenakshi Vijayam. She choreographed Dashavatharam, myself and Valli. And so again, there was a nice story behind it, is that we had to perform in the Trivandrum temple. And the temple came back to say, sorry, we can't take this girl, she's Christian. So so then the school, Shankarman said, all of them had to write to her and say, no, she's not, she's blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. They said, no, but her name is Stella. So that's when I realized actually how progressive my parents were, that, you know, I didn't even know until then that the names actually defined you. And for me, that was quite horrific. The fact is that what name and what surname you carry, actually people judge you with that. And I was really proud of my father that he was ahead of his time. And he gave all of us, all his children, names which did not depict, you know, what caste or creed or whatever we came from. So anyway, so coming back to Atte's dance dramas, it was really a privilege to have been there. It was a privilege to actually have observed her and been choreographed on. And it was, you know, she would be sitting there and you had to be in sync with what she was asking you to do, because if you got it, then it was really, really beautiful. I remember another one of the scenes was in Meenakshi Vijayam. She was showing Meenakshi going around and Shiva is there. I mean, at that time, she must have been late 70s or early 80s. She showed a young girl, the way she held the hand and walked around, it was, you know, the shyness, the without being in your face. It was just amazing. So these subtleties I got to see, I got to watch. And through all these tours, like when we went to Vietnam, I went to China, I went to USSR, she was there traveling with us. So she would sit with us and have breakfast, and of course she would see us because, you know, we were all very young and we would exchange saris and stuff, and we would just wear lipstick and stuff, and the next thing you'll know is that they're sitting there and she would have worn lipstick and come. So she really was amazing, and if there was anything we wanted, we could actually go up and ask her and say that, you know, I have a performance, I don't have a costume. So she would say, take the costume from Kalakshatra. So like that, we've taken costumes from Kalakshatra, from Margada teacher, and gone and performed a tour and all that. So you know, I know I'm going forward and backward and forward and backward. But the most influential person in Kalakshetra for me were a couple of my teachers. One of the great ones was Sharda Hoffman, Sharda teacher. And Sharda teacher was very difficult in the sense she demanded a lot from you. She demanded good, solid work from you. And it was never personal with her. She required you to just be there, and for her, everything was to do with dance and dance only, and your understanding of the movement and the aesthetics which was lying behind each movement. So I really really glad and grateful that I had her as my teacher. I also had Jaya teacher as a part-time teacher, part-time student, and they all brought in different flavor. And then later on I had Krishna Veniyaka, who also brought in a different kind of a flavor when we were all in the concert section in the repertory group, because she brought in a different kind of a sophistication. And then of course we had the Annas, we had Janardhan Anna, we had Balanna, Chalapati Anna, Ramkutti Anna, all these masters, they were fabulous, because, you know, all what we learned was just watching them. And of course, I'll never forget Leelaka, because Leelaka's fabulous, when she did Shakuntalam, we were her Sakhis. And she, when we watched her do the walking and coming in, it was just wonderful. I saw her for the first time when Krishnavenika was pregnant with Gayatri, and Akka was doing Sita's role. And for me, it was like I was, blown off, because it was just so beautiful. So having had this whole experience in Kalakshetra, I went to Delhi, because I think Leelaka was very generous, because she worked with us and she opened her house, she opened a place for us to stay. And we worked with her for a year and a half. And basically looking at, we meaning there was Dipanjali, my friend, there was Valli, there was Justin. They continue to be my collaborators and friends. So we worked with Leelaka on dance as such, on warm-ups, and understanding a little bit more about what Bharatanatyam was for us, because until then, don't forget that 16 years in Kalakshetra, we were all doing various roles, important, not important, character roles, not character roles. So we were all participating in the dance dramas and learning through these dance dramas. Now with Leela Sampson, it was different. It was more of a, you understand the abstractness of the movement, of Bharatanatyam, of various other stuff. And then of course Leela had organized a tour for us and costumes, and we did a stint then. After that, I went to Groningen in Holland. And there again, I met a fabulous professor. He's a very well-known professor, Professor Hans Bakker. He was the head of the department of Groningen University. So Professor Bakker he was so kind. I walked in one day and I said, Professor Bakker, I'm a dancer. Can you help me? I need space to practice. So I said, no problem. The university space is available. You can come and practice anytime. So they gave me the keys. And I would take my little ghetto blaster and go every day into this place with a carpeted floor and do my tattadava, natadava, whatever I remember, whatever I could. And then of course subsequently he had organized a couple of performances at the museums in Groningen. And from Groningen, of course, I went to Nigeria. And Nigeria, I was teaching a little bit of dancing, and then I managed to get some work done, possibilities of work at the Benin University, but then I moved again. Then I came to UK. And when I came to London, I was so happy to meet my co-partners in crime, which is Meera Balachandran Gokul and Vidya Tirunarayan, and Debbie and Valli Subbaiah. Now, Debbie Finbar she has always been a part of Sankalpam, though she's not a Bharatanatyam dancer, or doesn't she have formally part of it, but she's been always involved in our development with the work and movement and moving and questioning and rehearsal and various other roles. So with Sankalpam, we were very lucky because we were national portfolio. All our work was underpinned by research and development, and we were very lucky because we managed to work with very good names and continue to work even now. I mean, we worked with Sue McLennan, we worked with, top of my head, if it's happening. And then, of course, we commissioned Luca, we commissioned Stephanie Schober, and then, of course, we worked with Anandi teacher and all the text when we did things like hula. Then we worked with Ian Bellamy, who is, who's a very well-known jazz saxophonist. And so we were all the time research development, which underpinned then our performance work, then research and then our performance work. And then currently we worked with Lee Anderson. So we're creating various pieces of work. And then, of course, if you really look at what made a big impact, I think with the two productions which we did, was at Philip Zerelli. One was Dance of the Drunken Monk, and second was Corporate Reality. Corporate Reality came after my MA studies, MA in choreography at Middlesex University. It was really poignant, and also the Dance of the Drunken Monk, because it's a 5th century farce, and we managed to really push we've always worked with Bharatanatyam, always wanted to take it inside out and add layerings and find out about what the form is all about, and how, when you present it in a context which is so foreign, how do you still make it relevant? And that search has continued, and one of that search took us to Sri Lanka, because we were, at that time, Meera was doing a paper on conflict. So we went to Sri Lanka as a part of, looking at dance and how does Bharatanatyam have an impact on conflict zone. And there we met some fabulous dance teachers and dance practitioners in Jaffna University. And then we came back with this idea as, dance has to make some sense, dance has to have meaning. It's not about looking pretty, it's not just about performance. So, so there were a lot of search questions and stuff and debate and discussion. And then, of course, I formed a group which is called UPPAL. And UPPAL is now 5 years old. We did our first performance in the Bhavan, called UPPAL in Unarvu. So it's basically this whole idea of how important it is to have an embodied performance, and how important it is to have a lived-in experience. In Tamil we call it, it's not enough to have arivu. Arivu is knowledge. You need to have unarvu. Unarvu is experience. So it's for youngsters of today. It's really, really important that they live these experiences, because it informs the practices of whatever they're doing. And for my UPPAL ladies, I think what they got out was tremendous. That they understood that they were all shapes and sizes, that they can dance. They actually negotiated their space with their spouses, because within the Tamil culture, within the Sri Lankan Tamil culture, women should not be allowed to dance after you get married and have babies. You don't have dance. So they had to negotiate without actually fighting with their spouses, and the spouses actually have supported UPPAL, and they continue to support UPPAL. And my UPPAL ladies are really wonderful, because they are mothers, they are very kind, and they understand the philosophy which underpins this whole UPPAL. So dance is an embodiment, and I think the person who has guided me to this kind of a view is Sabine Sorgal, because I think Sabine is a fantastic academic who I used to be, we used to work at Surrey University. And of course, we've always had such wonderful relationship with Anne David and with the other practitioners in Avanti, and not to forget all my fellow Bharatanatyam colleagues, because I now and then I'd love to call up Chitra and say, Chitra, what is happening, because she knows, she's in pulse of so many things. So it's a great way for us to have a connection and a rapport with each other, because we are not against each other, we are all working towards. We may all have different kind of artistic dreams or aesthetics, but that should not stop us doing what we're doing now. It is sharing, it's dialoguing, it's uniting, the mind and the body uniting to sustain humanity. I mean, I think it's a wonderful platform which Meera has established. So I know I really kind of rushed and rambled here and rambled there and rambled here and rambled there, but thank you so much for being patient and listening to me, and I hope it has been really helpful. If you have any questions, just put them in, and later I will answer them separately. It's really not very comfortable for me to be speaking to the camera. I've never done this before, so I was really telling Meera, I don't know why I said yes to you, but anyway, it's said and done, so namaste.